Hey there, car enthusiasts and community champions. You might recognize us as Brookings Auto Mall, your trusted car dealership. And yes, we're in the business of selling cars, but today we're revving up something different. Welcome to BAM, Beyond the Lot. What's driving Brookings? Brookings, South Dakota. It's more than a spot on the map. It's a vibrant community where we're shifting gears, steering away from the ordinary and putting the spotlight on the extraordinary people fueling our town's heart. From K-12 educators sparking inspiration both inside and outside the classroom, to SDSU acting as a powerhouse for academic excellence and innovation. The synergy extends to the thrill of SDSU athletics, an unwavering commitment of nonprofits and businesses. These are the gears that keep our community in motion. Brookings may appear as just another town to the outside world, but let me tell you, under the hood, it's a well-oiled machine powered by the people. So join us and buckle up as we hit the road, sharing the stories of the incredible individuals propelling Brookings forward. This is BAM, Beyond the Lot, What's Driving Brookings. Here's your host, Brookings Auto Mall sales consultant and Brookings native, Connor Bestie.
Awesome. Welcome to another episode of BAM Beyond the Lot. Today, I'm joined with none other than the Isaiah Davis. Isaiah, how's it going? And welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me on, but everything's going pretty good.
Awesome. So currently in Texas now, getting ready for the draft and what's next after SDSU. But today we're going to kind of throw it back to, where it all started and what age did you start playing football growing up?
I started playing when I believe I was 6. My dad put me in flag football, so I was at North Park with a bunch of the guys I put through high school with, just playing flag football, running around, not thinking anything of it, just enjoying it and out there competing.
Okay. So was it just right away you're just like, this is my sport, like this is what I want to play?
No, I mean, from a young age, I mean, I played multiple sports. Like my parents put me in, like I was in soccer, like YMCA basketball, baseball, football, obviously. So I mean, at a young age, I was just playing multiple sports, and like throughout, I would say until my freshman year of high school, I was still playing all the sports except soccer. So, I mean, growing up, I was just year round, constantly on the move, on the go. And parents constantly on the go with me. Just every weekend it was a different sport, or sometimes it's 2 sports at a time. So just constantly going through. But I didn't really know football was my sport until I would say high school, my sophomore year. I was in there playing ping pong in like the little long hallway in Joplin, the high school, and some Air Force dude came in and pulled me and Coach Jasper aside, and he was just asked about my GPA and ACT scores and stuff like that. So it kind of shocked me, and I didn't know what to think at the moment. But I mean, it kind of like, I don't know, gave me confidence and gave me something to like look forward to and something to work towards and kind of take it more serious.
Okay. And as what other sports did you kind of play all through high school?
So my freshman year, I did baseball, basketball, and football, and then my sophomore year, I quit doing baseball so I could just do like track workouts, and I did AAU basketball along with track. So I mean, I would get out of track and go straight to AAU basketball, but I did football and basketball obviously the whole high school career.
Okay, so got some experience with basketball. If you were to play someone on SDSU men's basketball team in one-on-one, who would you want to take one-on-one?
Zeke, no question. I want the best. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, kind of when did the recruiting process start with SDSU, and when was the first time that you took a trip up to Brookings?
So I think it was my junior year. We were playing basketball, and it's like in high school basketball, it goes like for the freshman play, the sophomores, the JV team plays, and the varsity team plays. So I was waiting for the varsity game, and then one of the coaches, Coach Lujan, who recruited me, he was out there with Coach Jasper in the stands, kind of talking to him, and I think originally he was there for one of my teammates, Zach, and so he was there. He texted us to come up, So like me, Zach, and James Boyd, we got a camp invite, and I met Coach Lujan, and then from there, I mean, I just was looking forward to the camp, and I think I went to the camp that I don't think it was May or June, and then that was like my first camp. But I mean, um, I went to like multiple camps like during that off season. I mean, I went to Lindenwood was when I got the offer from SDSU. It was like a mega camp in St. Louis where like hundreds of college teams were there, and they were just recruiting players, and everybody has like a hat or like a logo. So like there were a bunch of like Power 5 schools there, but like I mean, there's obviously teams that before I was like had spoken to that were there, and so that was kind of cool. But I mean, leaving the camp, I left with two offers: not MSSU, South Dakota State, and SEMO. It's funny because I was there for running back, but uh, one of the coaches from SEMO, he liked my size and my speed, and he asked me to do one-on-one rep with like one of the top recruits there at running back, and I did. Tag him off on the hip, and then he gave me an offer and a camp invite. So, but after that, he didn't really talk to me much for like a month, so I didn't think much of it. I didn't like that he didn't like reach out, and so I didn't really think much of it and count it as an offer because I mean it wasn't nothing. I was serious.
Awesome. And so then you end up coming to SDSU. What was it about SDSU when you got that offer? Were you, hey, what have running backs in the past done at SDSU? Like what kind of made you what research did you did about SDSU where you're like, yeah, this is a place that I want to go?
Well, I just want to go somewhere where I feel like home, and like you go like all these schools. I visited a couple schools on unofficial visits, and they all preach like love, family, and like culture. But like when I got to SDSU, it just felt different. Like I feel like I'm part of the squad already. Like they had us sitting at a table with like current players and just like chopping it up and talking. So like I don't know, they just did a good job with like that process and making it feel like home without me even knowing anybody there. So like welcome my family and all that stuff. So like they felt it was right for me. I loved it. Opportunity because I only had two opportunities. So I felt like I belonged. I felt like I was part of the family. I just wanted to make it official.
Awesome. And so when you first get here for, summer workouts leading into your first year at SDSU, what was kind of your approach to like, hey, I'm, one of however many in the running back room, like who kind of did you look up to and kind of how did you approach that first summer leading into the school year?
So I mean, our first workouts and our first early season was the fall of 2020, and we didn't end up playing. They had canceled like the second day, so we reported like late August, but most guys report like early June because of COVID. But got there on like a Thursday, checked in and stuff, and then our first practice was Saturday. And obviously, everyone wants to go in there and compete. Like everyone's used to being the top guy, so like obviously it was a little different when I got there. Like everyone's good, so you kind of have to like raise your bar a little bit. But so yeah, I got there first day. It went terrible for me. Like a lot of freshmen messed up the plays. Just worried about like not messing up. We're going through indie drills. I'm hitting all the bags, and I knew it was rough. Like I knew I had a rough day, and it was kind of hard on me because I don't know I've grown to be a perfectionist, but I've always been a perfectionist. But like it's hard when like you're going to something totally new that you're not used to. And then a Monday came around, a much better day. I felt better, looked better. And then Coach Johnson, one of the best coaches I've ever had, he told me, he said, "You're lucky today. You give reason why we recruit you because on Saturday I was wondering why the hell we recruit you." And that was a good shot for me because like I needed that. I needed to be pushed, and that coaching is something I never really had before. So like having someone that was hard on me, who was pushing me, and like knew my potential, that was good for me and best thing for me at the time. But someone I look up to was obviously Pierre. Coach Johnson, when I came in, he told me that the number 2 spot was up for grabs, and like all I had to do was work to get it. And at the time, there were like 8 running backs there, and by the time our season came around, we only had 3. So it was me, Pierre, and a transfer. So like the other 6 guys ended up leaving, transferring, or stopped playing ball. So I mean, opportunity was there. So I just had to go in, work to get it, and ended up paying off.
Yeah, what was it? What was it like being the number two behind Pierre and just seeing, the career that he had, and kind of how did you approach learning from him in that number two position before, you eventually slid up to that number one spot?
I think it was just me trying to find my role in the team. Obviously I knew Pierre and the success he's had in the past, so just fighting for reps, whatever it may be. If it's third down, I think one of my first big plays was we played UNI the first game. It's like a 3rd and 6, and it's like an option route with the running back out the backfield. I caught it for 18 yards, so definitely a confidence boost. But I knew he was a guy. He was really good at everything he did. But just finding my role, and as I got more touches, I got more confidence. I think week 3 came around. We played Western Illinois. I had 9 rushes for 118 yards, and so my first touchdown was also that game. So it kind of over time, my role kind of changed. I developed more of a role on the offense, not just special teams and stuff. And then by the end of the year, it ended up being me and Pierre were the 1 and 2. So it kind of developed over time.
Yeah, and then following year when Pierre's gone, how did your your mindset change? Where hey, now I'm the number one guy. How did you handle that change with the other running backs in the room, where you're now kind of the leader that they're looking up to as well, but as well as the increased reps on the field?
So I feel I've always had the mature mentality of just going in there and work, putting extra work. So I kind of was looking forward to that role of people others looking up to me. I try to bring the best out of other players, especially in the running back room. So being able to push them, even though I may not be the fastest as far as drill work and work ethic, I can help them reach their potential. But it's different than being number one back, because especially my freshman year. It was easy because, they didn't have any film on me. They didn't really study me. So it really was all about Pierre. So when I went in there and, ran power 8 times, it was different. Teams weren't really prepared to beat gap sound, and we were really not focused on mid zone and stuff like that. So definitely different. I had to learn to get better, adapt to change. It's different being the one back, like I said. So just going in there, working. And that year when he left, it took me 5 games to get my first touchdown. We played Iowa, we played UC Davis, played Missouri State, and some other team. But it was different. I had to adapt. Just if I be the best I could, have the ball in my hands. But it definitely a rough start to that year, but it ended up paying off.
Yeah. So when you what is your favorite play to run when you're at SDSU?
Power.
Favorite power?
Yeah, I mean, you got Mason, the juggernaut, in front of you walking. It's easy because he's always going to find something, and I can trust him. And I feel I don't know, we ran, power so many times. So, the connection, the chemistry between me and him just got better over and over time. So I believed in him and his responsibility, his job. I think he believed in me, and, we always found a way to get the job done.
Awesome. And so, that first year, the COVID year where, we make it to the national championship game and just come up just a little bit short. What was that like? Obviously disappointed that we didn't win that first one, but how did that, influence your mindset going into that off season of hey, we can do this. We just got to work. What was that? What was that like getting there, but then just not finishing?
It definitely sucked. I mean, we lost with 17 seconds left, and we still could have won. Last play of the game, we didn't execute as offense. We had a little kind of trick play, just to we threw a little shallow route, and we're supposed to pitch it back to the quarterback, throw it back to Pierre, but the quarterback got tangled up with the DN who kind of held him. So we couldn't get out behind, I think it was Jackson. So, the play didn't work out, but, it sucks, all the emotions, I feel I did everything I possibly could to, put us in a position to win. But, it's a team sport. Everyone has to do the job, and awesome things I could have done a little bit better. But our coach had a T-shirt. He had a T-shirt made. It said like 21-23, which was the score of the championship game. So that was just the mindset the whole year, reminding us of that feeling that we all felt, watching the orange confetti fall, and kind of like the tone for the whole summer. And so, I mean, it definitely changed us for the better. I feel like, once we had a taste of like what it felt like to get there and lose it, it just made it so much more hungry. I mean, obviously, my junior year when we went back, I think the level that we were playing at, we knew that no one was stopping us, and it was just, if we all we had to do is get back. So it was kind of like weird because the first time it was all of our first time, going, and so we were all just like oohs and ahs of the whole experience, the whole trip, like what it was like, and taking it all in. And then the junior year came around, and we already had a taste of like what it was like. So I think all of us and the mature senior class we had, it was kind of like more of a business trip. Like we got to go there, take care of business, and then we can celebrate after.
What was it like getting that first one with Stig, and then he ends up retiring? How cool was it to see him be here with this program for so long, and then finally cap it off with that national championship?
No doubt, it was definitely good. Just get it for Stig. He coached for 33 or however many years. And, send him off with the bang was something that we all players want to do for him. But definitely a great experience. I mean, I don't know any other feeling of winning a national championship, seeing the confetti fall, and just knowing that you did it. Like all the work you had, it all paid off. The end goal is to win the championship, and we finally did it. But worst can't describe just being on the podium and seeing straight blue on the field, storm the field. The cigars, the pictures, the joy, the memories, all the pictures. You can't really describe the feeling. It's something can't reenact, but definitely a blessing. Just getting there, doing it right. Putting the beat down on NDSU. Felt amazing.
Yeah, and how cool was it to see? I believe there was one this year and last year where kind of that final walkthrough where you have all those former Jackrabbit players there. Like, how cool was it? Especially the first year when you finally got the one where you see all those guys that had their playoff runs, but it ended short and didn't get it. How cool is it to see just that support from all those alumni?
Definitely cool. Like those moments and the times during the whole trip where like the walk and that where the practice when everyone comes. It's definitely just like a joy, like celebrate everyone who's came through SDSU, who's played, and doing it with the guys. Some of the guys you play with, it's definitely something that you don't take for granted. Like grateful for the guys who came in there. Like my junior year, went back. I mean, seeing like Tets, that was cool because he was like the old dog on the team. Our freshman year we went, so seeing like guys like those, like him, who came back, kind of reminds me who you're doing it for. You're not just doing it for the guys on the field, the guys you practice with, and doing it with the guys who've been through it. Because at the end, we're all part of this together. They helped us get where we are today. If it wasn't for their sacrifices and them helping us create this long journey, then we wouldn't have gotten where we got.
And then when you finish that the first trip to Frisco where we win it, then you come back. Now what's your mindset and approach of like, whoa, that was good. Like let's do it again. Let's do it one more time. What was that off season like?
It kind of set the tone. Like I feel like we knew the recipe to success. I feel like it was all in our hands, especially after we won the first time. Like there was so much talk of everyone's coming back except Tucker and Caleb, and there's no reason why we shouldn't win. So I think us having good leadership, a good mental strength coach, Chris Clark, helping us eliminate distractions, just focus on us, focus on the guys in the room, because it's hard when people telling you constantly how good you are, and it's really easy to get complacent. So he kept reminding us that, and what the final goal was. But at the end of the day, you got to take one day at a time. You're not going to win the championship game in the off season. You got to stack days on days, and be consistent. And so that constantly being reminded of that. Like I said, eliminating distractions and just taking it day by day.
What was it like, going through that transition of you win a national championship, Coach Stiggs retires, and now Coach Rogers takes over. What was that transition like? You know, obviously Coach Rogers played for Stig, and then he has been here for years, and then now he takes over. What was that change like, and maybe compare and contrast, Stig and Coach Rogers.
So everyone knows Coach Stig is just like the love coach. He's all about giving back. As far as like gives lots of second chances. But Coach Rogers is the complete opposite. It was as a head coach, it's kind of hard to like build relationships with everybody just because like you're so busy. You have so many responsibilities, and Coach Rogers being the DC for my first 3 years, I kind of like gotta chop it up with him a little bit more, and he as far as develop our relationship. So like I already know where he was at. He knew where I was at. He knew a lot of the guys' goals in the team. I think the best thing about Rodgers is that we have the same vision for ourselves as like guys who want to go to the next level. So like the guys who plan on playing in the NFL, like he holds you accountable. Like you make sure you're doing the right things, and you make sure you set the example for all the young guys. So I was excited. I was fired up when Rodgers got the job. I feel like we all know how he is. A lot of people think he's just some hard ass or whatever it may be, but all the guys on the team who've been around him like know who he is, how he coaches. Like he just wants the best out of everybody and make sure you're doing the right thing. And so knowing he was a head coach, with all the connections he has, and now him having the power he has, I know he was just going to do everything he could to put us in the right position as far as nutrition, taking care of us. Like he knew we were a vet team, an old team, so kind of took it easy on us because we've had so many reps on the field, so we didn't need all the extra reps and extra periods and stuff like that. So I mean, he did a great job of just balancing out and just taking care of us and make sure we're always ready to play.
And so what was it like this last season? Starting off the year, everybody's like, oh, they got all these guys back. They should do it again. Coach Rogers is the head coach. What was it like to finally get on the field after that summer where, okay, like game one, here we go.
I think we're all ready. Obviously Rogers, being the head coach, he always gets you fired up. Like he always has, his speeches on Monday to start off the week, and I think he has all the guys in the room ready to put the pads on, and we haven't watched no film or nothing like that. So, like I said before, he just brings the most out of us and gets us fired up. His pregame speeches, he knows how to get into people, how to bring the best out of them, and he just sets the tone for the whole team. He's just an intense guy who, like, if you know him, you know how he operates. You trust him. He's always going to do his best for you, and you just got to believe in it, trust it, and at the end of the day, it's going to pay off.
Awesome. So, you go back, you win a second national championship, and there's that video of you after the game where you're just like, man, I'm just gonna miss lifting. Like,
Yeah.
could you talk about just like overall what the 4 years at SDSU has meant to you and those friendships and just the memories that you have?
It really just means everything, to me. Like it's like I feel like to me, like all the small moments, like to me matter. Like the locker room moments or something like no other. Like just going in there, before lift, after lift. Just the guys on the room. It's such a great culture at SDSU. You're always loved, taken care of, and a great group of guys. So just going in there, like knowing that you're constantly gonna laugh, you're constantly gonna make a new memory. You're gonna see something new every day. Something crazy is always gonna go on. But I mean, it's always going to be for the best, and just like all the guys in the room, like my class to the 2018 class to the freshmen. Like I feel like everyone talked with everybody. There was no like specific group. Like no one stood out and like tried to be the guy. I did a good job recruiting like just guys who were hungry, who bond together. I feel like it definitely played into the success we had. Like everyone was bought in, knew the job, knew the responsibility, knew it had to be done. And just never took it for granted.
And what is the Brookings community? How have they embraced you over the 4 years? And You gonna miss being in Brookings, despite the -40 wind chill days some winters. But what is the Brookings community and all the SDSU fans meant to you over the 4 years?
Yeah, definitely not going to miss the -20 games and the what I'm saying, the long walks to the facility when it's -30 outside. But no, the sports mean everything to me. Just I feel like that's another reason why SDSU is so special. Being such a small town, but having such a great impact on the team. Like my senior year was definitely the crowd was a difference. The fans support, going after the game, taking pictures with the kids, the families, and that means everything to me. And I always like giving back to those because in those games where it may be cold outside and those 10 to 12,000 fans still show up. That's the difference in a winner and loss. And a lot of games where they came out and showed out, like Montana State. I don't know how many false starts they had, but I mean, we're on the goal line. They get a false start. I think it was like third and goal on the 1 or 2, and then now they're third and goal on the 6. So I mean, they might not know the difference or the impact they have, but I mean, in games like those and the important games, they definitely make a difference. But hearing them every game, loud and on kickoff, that song they always play and the shoes in the air. I mean, it's something that every college kid wants, and guys who are hungry and want to go play a national championship. I mean, if you want support, people behind your back, and good culture, SDSU is definitely a spot to be.
What is your favorite play that you have that like you like your memory of your favorite play where you're like, it was this run, this game? What was that for you?
I think that'd be my freshman year in the championship. My long run, my 85-yard. We ran mid zone to the left on our 15. Ran through the hole, bust up to the backers, kind of like ran outside, and then I'm on the sideline, and I think it was Jackson, and then I think it was Hines blocking 30, 40 yards down the field, and then I said, if I'm going to do it, and tie up the sideline and keep running. But that's probably just my most memorable run. Like going back and like seeing everyone else in the play, like on the sideline, running up, throwing the towel. And, at the time, I thought it was over. But, like, I feel like that's where it came into. We weren't as a mature team. I feel like anytime something like that happened, the last 2 seasons, like, we found a way to refocus and lock back in, like the mental strength that really plays a part. But, I feel like we could have handled that a little bit better. But, just seeing everybody on that play, all the unselfishness, just everybody doing their responsibility, doing the job, and just playing for a championship, laying it all on the line. You don't see a lot of time receivers and tight ends or 40-yard down the field, making blocks. So you got to give respect to those guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is your what's your favorite memory at SDSU outside of football? Just as a student athlete here, whether it's in the classroom, in the community, what's your favorite non-football memory?
Definitely a bunch of them. I think we had this. I forgot what it's called. It's like the Olympic Games we play during fall camp. That's basically like the freshmen versus sophomores versus juniors versus seniors, and we have like a celebration. It's like the whole classics. There's like a touchdown celebration after like reenact the play. So there was a point in time where like John had said something under his breath to Coach Rogers, and we kind of reenacted that during the fall, and that was just funny. Everyone was dying, coaches involved, they're just dying, laughing, and I don't know, it was just like constant laughs and giggles, and just that's probably one of my favorite memories.
Awesome. So now that you are, you're done with SDSU, you're just finishing up online classes. You're down at Frisco or down in Texas. What's been hey, I'm done with college ball. I'm preparing for the NFL draft. You just played in the Senior Bowl. What was that like, and what has your day-to-day been like, kind of as you get ready for that next step?
Senior Bowl was definitely a great experience. I'm definitely just blessed to be there. I was one of the the later guys should get an invite, but I told the Jim Nagy invite to invite. But just going through the whole process with all the guys, doing the team interviews with NFL teams, the meetings, the practice, just and I feel like everything there was definitely just something I was taking all in and enjoying. Days were long, definitely at the Senior Bowl, but just taking all in, building connections with all the guys, being coached. I feel like I grew a lot that week, and I think that was a big thing for me. But as far as like day to day now, working out 6 days a week, through 3 workouts a day on Tuesdays through Thursday, and just putting pain in. So trying to do everything I can possible to go out there and perform well at the combine, the pro day, and just trying to keep my body right, keep my body healthy, make sure my body's in the right space to perform at its best.
Awesome. And so what is what are things that you're going through now preparing for the draft that maybe the average fan doesn't understand about how much work goes into this pre-draft process, and maybe from your perspective what you see where you're like, man, people may not realize what has to go into this to try to get ready for this next step.
I mean, just like the discipline it takes. Like for me, I've always been somebody who has to discipline their eating and time, and just make sure I'm always doing the right things to make sure my body's at my best. But as far as just the testing, how technical it is, I don't know. I've never really been taught how to do some of these things. So a lot of these things I'm learning how to do, the L drill and the 40, it's so technical. So just learning different movements and trying to make it become a habit, muscle memory, day after day, and just trying to carry on to the next day is something that I've been working on. But it's constant hard days, where you've done the same thing so many times and you got to do it 5 times harder and attack it with the same mindset. But you only get one opportunity at this. We all know that. So just reminding myself of my why and going through this process, and that what I'm doing it for, who I'm doing it for, and just remembering the support I got behind my back.
What was the process like of hey, I want to find an agent? How did you decide who to get as an agent, and kind of what is the agent's role in helping you as you lead up to that draft?
So I was talking to one dude for 3 years, and he kind of reached out to me after the championship game, and he saw the potential in me. But so my current agent now, Mike, I was told to reach out to him last February, and at the time I was like, man, I got my agent, I'm done, my mind's set up, and then I left it alone, and then I think it came back in July. Another dude told me, hey, you should give this agent a chance. He's a good agent, he'll take care of you. So I was like, you know what, I'll give him a chance. So we got on a Zoom call. He told me what it was about, and what he was involved with, what he stood for, what he saw in me, and what really made me choose him was he had during the Zoom call he had a slide where it showed a picture of me giving back, and it was my own football camp. It was a giveaway, backpack giveaway, a turkey drive, and it had all the right addresses on it. It had the picture of my stadium, and the small details was something that stood out to me, and it showed me that he really cared. He really did his research, and that was different. He had the same vision for myself, and he heard that I like giving back and being supportive to the community and things like that. And so it's always been a goal of mine whenever football's done and my career in NFL, just give back to those and the community of Joplin, and try and do whatever I can for those.
Have you stayed in touch with any of the current NFL Jacks that we have, where you're reaching out to them maybe, or maybe you've talked to Pierre and said, hey, what advice do you have going through this process? And how useful is it to have, some of those guys that been at SDSU, and now you can kind of lean on them too as you go through it?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Tuck a couple times, Pierre a couple times. Tuck's just, reminded me just just keep working. Things are going to work out. He says I'm in a good spot where I'm at. Just consistent hard work and, finding ways to make yourself better. Focus on the things focus on your weaknesses, things you struggle with, and attacking those. And because when you get to the next level, everything's going to be exposed. There's no more hiding, behind the helmet. All your flaws are going to be, exposed. So, I asked Pierre just about like the whole process with the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl, kind of which one to go to at first. And, he gave me his say, and both of the games are kind of becoming the same. But just his mindset going into it, what he did and, how it helped him. And definitely helped me just, have a grasp of, what I'm going into, how to attack it. So I'm not going to anything blind for the first time. So I'm not seeing anything new. So that kind of helped me just kind of get my mind right, my body ready, and, just making sure I was aware of things I was getting into before I was seeing it for the first time.
And what's it like with working with the team? So obviously the NFL scouts, they do a ton of research, and they're digging into everything and seeing what you're involved with, because it's a huge investment when they draft someone or they sign someone. What has kind of been the most shocking thing about that process of working with NFL scouts and kind of how they go about evaluating players?
Probably just like the amount of research they do on people. Like I feel like the scouts really know everything about you, and I feel like a lot of times they just try to see, if you're telling them everything, or if you're if you're being honest. So I feel like the biggest thing for anyone going through this process is just being yourself. Just tell them straight up, what it is, what we've been through, things you faced in life, and adversity you faced, to help you become better. But they just want to get to know you, at first, see how you are as a person, see you are, how you carry yourself, and what others say about you. But they just want to know how you are, how you carry yourself, and you just got to show who you are and just be the best version of you.
Awesome. And hopefully you get drafted and you have a very long NFL career. But at the point where football's over, what do you want to do after football?
Definitely been a question, something I've asked myself a lot. But something I always want to do, just like I said, give back. I want to open a facility, or like to help train kids. And I feel like in the Southwest Missouri area, a lot of kids didn't have the opportunity. I didn't have the opportunity. So like going back and giving them opportunity, kind of putting that area of the map more on notice. I feel like in high school, a lot of college teams, when they go to recruit, they go to like the Kansas City area and the St. Louis area. And I feel like there's a lot of talent in that lower Southwest area of Missouri. So just kind of going back and giving kids an opportunity to come out and work, reach their potential, gain some knowledge, whether it be lifting, mobility, nutrition. Just kind of just giving back all the game I've learned throughout the years. But I don't know. That's something I want them to do. I don't know exactly what area I want to do. I know like Northwest Arkansas, businesses grow really fast with all the people who go in and out of there. So, and that's only like a 50-hour drive from, job and stuff. Kids, wanted to go down, and they were serious about, putting in work. Wouldn't be that far of a drive, but just getting back, just giving all the game and the knowledge I learned throughout the years and helping kids reach their potential.
And so, you speak of Joplin, before the national championship game, there was that segment that they played leading up to the game where it was, I can't remember which news station, but it talked about you going through that tornado that hit Joplin. What was that like? And, could you kind of share that story and kind of, how that made you stronger, at the end of the day?
Yeah, so it was a Sunday. We had a baseball tournament that day, and we got to the championship game, and it was around like 5 o'clock. I think we're in like the 5th inning. I was on third base, and the sirens started to go off, and like you look in the sky, you see all like the funnel clouds, like the dark gray funnel clouds. And I no one really thought much of it at first, and so we kind of just kept playing. Like everyone had this like eerie feeling, like what's really going on. And so sirens turned off and then turned back on again. So the second time it turned on, they were like, okay, we probably call the game just to be safe. And like no one thought much of it because like nothing in Joplin has gone on in like a long time. So we thought it was just another one of those, just reoccurring sirens. But because Joplin was right in Tornado Alley, it's always been. So the sirens go off like all the time, especially during that Tornado Alley season. But we left the park. It was like me, my dad, my brother, and one of my friends, Garrett. We're heading back to my house. My mom went and got some food from us. I think it was like from Sonic or Wendy's. My dad stopped at a gas station. I think it was like the Casey's right by East Middle School. And then the dude tried to lock him in the store, but my dad was like, "No, I got kids in the car." And he was like, "Well, it's protocol. I have to lock you in." He was like, "It don't matter. Like, I got kids in the car. It's way bigger than that. I can't let the kids just stay out there." And so he left. He took it back to my house. My friend's dad pulled up to pick Garrett up. His dad, Mike, he said, if y'all want to come to my house, y'all can. I got a basement. It's probably more safe. My dad was like, "No, my wife's on the way with food. Like, I'd love to, but I just can't leave her." So they ended up leaving. My mom pulled up with the food. Then you hear like a big boom, and then like I'm getting undressed, finna get in the shower, and I only got my pros on, and my dad runs to my back window, looks out, and he sees like everything getting tore up, and my dad just starts yelling, "Get in the hallway! Get in the hallway!" And so I lay in the hallway, and luckily it's like a T, like our hallway's like a T, so like there's like a wall right here, and there's like a wall right here that separates like my living room from my parents' room. It's like the twin size mattress that we're under kind of like fit right in the middle, and so it's kind of sturdy. So I laid up under there. My brother came in. My dad slid up underneath, and my mom, she's looking at like the our kitchen window at the tornado, and she was just in shock. And so my dad kept yelling her name, "Brandy, Brandy, Brandy, come on!" And then she finally snapped out of it. And then like as she was running, she slid under like as the tornado was hitting our house. And so it was like me, my mom, my dad, my brother, my two dogs, under the mattress for like 5 minutes. Everything was going on. I'm laying next to the wall. There's like a little hole at the bottom. Just seeing everything get tore up. My dad just praying. He's screaming, and I can hear him, and he's just praying, if it takes anybody, take him. He said, "Not my kids." And so that was definitely a rough experience. After the tornado was over, it was like 5 minutes. My dad got out. There was a lot of debris on the mattress. There was like a little tree that fell on our mattress. He lifted it off. He got everybody out of there. I'm standing on my parents' mattress of what's left. And then my grandparents, like 20 minutes later, came and picked us up, took us to their house in Galena. And like they have like a little truck. And so like it's like my two dogs, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my grandparents. And then we had picked up like my neighbors who were in that the crawl space under the house, and we took to the hospital. There's like 5 of them. So we're like 10 deep, the 2 dogs and a little pickup truck. We go back to my grandparents' house, and we shower up. Like my mom had like a big hole in her leg. She got hit by something, and it's just like gushing out, bleeding. And so I don't know, just going in there. Like I was laying on the ground, at my grandparents' house, and just like me, just like 9 years old, just thinking like we're homeless, like we don't have anything. It was definitely tough, but definitely changed me. Just adversity. Definitely faced. Like as a 9-year-old, you don't think about anything or going through something like that. So like after that situation, I was definitely like paranoid of any kind of storms, rain, wind, and anytime I heard something or saw a tornado watch, anything of that, I was freaking out. I remember like it was like a month later, we were at a baseball tournament, and I was with my friend Zach and his dad, and like it was during the game, like there was a tornado watch, and like I'm hearing it from my parents, like who are on the bleachers. It's like mid-game, I'm freaking out, and then like I think they ended up calling the game. We just started heading home from Oklahoma, but it's like an hour and a half drive from Oklahoma City to or Tulsa to back home. So I'm the whole time freaking out, and like Jason asked me like, "You want to pull over?" You getting like, "No, I'll just keep going. Like no reason to stop. Let's get home." So. Definitely changed me. Like when teams ask about like adversity that I went through, I talk about that situation and how like if later in life when I have family, like the first thing I'm gonna do is just make sure, like, if I'm in the Midwest or wherever it may be, just make sure I have shelter, like a safe place to go to. So like, my family and they don't have to go through the same experience I had to go through, but it definitely changed me. Definitely a crazy experience, something I'll never forget.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, wow, had no idea that. But I remember hearing Joplin, Missouri, when, obviously once a storm like that happens, it's national news, but then it's like, oh my gosh, like we have a SDSU football player that was there and lived through that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a wild story. Do you have, I mean, obviously not anything to that magnitude, but what are other things that you would talk about when teams ask, what adversity have you faced and things like that?
So they usually just ask about like what's one thing you face on the field and off the field. So like, on the field, it's like I would say like it was my injury. Um, so my sophomore year when I broke my collarbone, I'd never been injured during the season. So that was just kind of rough for me mentally, and like I was in like a weird space. Like I didn't know what to do at first, but my coach at the time, Coach Crenshaw, he was just man, he told me just talk to God. He's there gonna have all the answers for you. And so like I felt like my role was to just get back to the guys and make sure they were ready to play. Um, but mentally I was just in a tough spot. Handling that and leaning on the guys around me was something that I had to do just to help me get through that. Being out 9 weeks, 8 games was rough for me, and at first I didn't know what to do. So like I said, like the culture at SSU just completely different than a lot of schools, and that's definitely a reason for our success. And having guys care for you and are there for you, and always tell you if you need anything, we got you, or something that people want to be a part of. And so just thankful for them helping me get through that and help me overcome that adversity that I faced.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you hopping on the show with us, and it's been fun watching you for 4 years at SDSU, and hopefully watch you on a lot of Sundays going forward. And just want to thank you for your time today, and hope you the best in the rest of the kind of pre-draft process leading up to it.
No doubt. Thank you for having me.